We have 3 sales tables with different column names but similar information. Our task is to merge these tables using Power Query. First, make sure you save all the files into a single folder and open that folder in Power BI. Next, go ahead and expand these tables using the first file as a sample, as you normally would. However, you'll notice that the result doesn't look correct. This happens because each table has a different number of columns and different column names. The idea here is to change the names of these columns to match them up before expanding. To do that, we can delete the last 2 steps and focus on getting a list of column names from all the tables. We can use the list transform function to go through each file in the transform file column. Then, we use the table.columnNames function to retrieve the names of each table in that column. This will give us 3 separate lists of column names. To combine them into one list and remove any duplicate names, we can use list combine and list distinct, respectively. Next, we'll copy the list creator mapping table to display the old column names alongside the corresponding new column names. This mapping table will assist us in aligning and matching the columns correctly. If you have many columns, it might be helpful to create an Excel mapping file for easier future updates. But in this case, since we only have a few columns, we can directly import the mapping table. Once we have the mapping table, we can create a new column with new names that match up with the existing names. After that, we go back to the main table. To change the column names for all 3 tables, we need to refer back to this step and add a new calculation. The function table.transformColumns is used to modify the columns of the table named #removed other columns 1. Inside the function, we specify the specific column we want to transform, which is called transform file. We rename the columns based on the mappings in the mapping table. The table.renameColumns function is utilized to change the column names. It requires 3 parameters, the table itself, represented by underscore, and a list of column name mappings. Using the each keyword ensures that the same transformation is applied to each row of the table. To create the list of column name mappings, we use list_zip to pair the old column names from the mapping table with their corresponding new column names. In case there are some values in the old column of the mapping table that don't exist in some tables, we use missing field, ignore to instruct Power Query to ignore any missing fields during the column renaming process. Finally, we can just expand the table with the new names as desired. Although this technique may seem a bit complex for this simple example, it becomes incredibly helpful when you're working with larger datasets that involve multiple tables and many columns. It's like having a handy tool that simplifies the process of aligning and renaming columns, making data management a breeze. So, Keep this technique in mind for those big dataset adventures.